This is Mac OS Ken.
The latest on iPhone sales in China, a questionable report from a questionable news source, and Apple gives Mastodon a vote of confidence. It is Monday, the 20th of February, 2023. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by SimpliSafe. Get a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring at simplysafe.com/macOSKen. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. Last week, Counterpoint Research issued a note saying iPhone sales were up 6% last month versus the same month a year earlier. Those were not official numbers, it seems. Research firm gonna research, yo. Apple 3.0 ran a couple of reaction notes in the wake of official numbers from the China Academy of Information and Communications Technology, or CAICT. Lag as they will, those were for December, not January. In his note, UBS analyst David Vogt saw explosive growth for iPhone from November to December. According to his note, while local brand shipments improved 21% November to December, iPhone shipments far outpaced the local brands, increasing 88% month over month and plus 20% year on year in December. Couple of things to note. First, the CAICT report does not break out iPhone sales specifically, just practically. What it tracks is domestic versus imported. While iPhone is not the only smartphone imported to China, it's the only one that sells in real numbers. That generally leaves analysts to read the imported numbers as iPhone numbers. The other thing to note, as Vogt did, the surge of iPhone sales in December was on the heels of iPhone sales that slowed to a trickle in November. That was thanks to a series of problems, from COVID lockdowns to hiring issues, that hindered iPhone production. The way the analyst sees it, the December surge should ease investor fears around the supply chain and iPhone production. Vogt has a buy rating on Apple shares. His price target on the shares is $180. The other reaction note was from Evercore analyst Amit Daryanani. Though staring at the same numbers, Daryanani says the December iPhone numbers in China were up about 17% year on year, not the plus 20% listed by Vogt. Maybe Daryanani doesn't give all of the imported sales to Apple. Whatever the case, he figures iPhone numbers in China will be strong for January and February when they are reported, as iPhone inventory builds up and the majority of unmet demand from October and November will likely be fulfilled. Daryanani has an outperform rating on Apple shares. His price target on the shares is $190. There's a story that's starting to pop up a few places. According to one headline, Apple has begun firing contractors amid mass tech layoffs. That headline cites sources of the unnamed variety. Now, there are a few issues, let's say, with this story. The first, we don't know who the sources are. The second, the paper with the headline was the New York Post. That takes us to a subset of issues. One, how connected to tech dealings, Apple dealings, and dealings in Silicon Valley is the New York Post? And two, it's kind of a sensationalist paper. Back to our first set of issues with the report. As the headline indicates, these are not Apple employees being let go, though that may be in name only. According to people with direct knowledge, reads the report, the iPhone maker over the past few days has started to cut ties with hundreds of contractors, workers technically employed by outside agencies who work alongside Apple employees on projects, in what looks like a stealthy move to cut costs. Instead of waiting for contracts that are typically renewed every 12 to 15 months to expire, the piece has the sources indicating that Apple is firing contractors outright. Between the intricacies of pay and hiring practices, the lack of info on who these contractors are said to be, and the news source quoting the unnamed sources, I would be hard-pressed to say that this is a thing that is happening. But the talk is out there. FYI. At least some of the developer betas about which I told you last week are out to the public testing peeps. Mac Rumors ran a couple of pieces on Friday, one saying that versions 16.4 of iOS and iPadOS were out to public testers, and another saying the same for macOS Ventura 13.3. Now that last one brings a weird thing with it. Yet another piece from Mac Rumors says Apple has released the 16.4 firmware beta for its Studio display. While regular firmware updates are sent to the displays automatically, the beta is a bit different, limited to Macs running the macOS 13.3 beta. If yours is one of those, Mac Rumors says you can go to System Settings, then Software Update to get the beta on your display. And if all this talk of living on the edge leaves you feeling left out, you can get info on Apple's public beta testing program at beta.apple.com. In with the OS betas, there is a new feature coming in the next round of Apple OS updates that reads like a vote of confidence for Mastodon. A piece from iDownload blog says the upcoming updates will see the Messages app bring native embeds for Mastodon posts that come with more details than standard URL previews. For folks who don't know, the piece says Mastodon is a federated social media service. Think of it kind of like a social media idea that sort of ends up like a social media platform, running on individually controlled servers, beholden to no one corporate owner nor shareholders. It's been around for a few years, though it was little more than a nerd retreat before Elon Musk took over Twitter. Once that happened, people looking for somewhere to go that wasn't Twitter found Mastodon. And Apple seems to think it has legs. According to iDownload blog, the Messages app in iOS 16.4, iPadOS 16.4, and macOS Ventura 13.3 now supports native embeds for Mastodon post links. But instead of simply adding visual previews to Mastodon URLs shared via Messages, Apple provides additional rich information similar to the tweet balloon previews in iMessage. According to the piece, such details include the author's name, post text, and any underlying attachments in the Mastodon post. Prior to last week's betas, and for users on the current public releases or earlier, all the user got or gets is a link to the post with no preview of what's on the other side. More news in a moment, but first a word from today's sponsor, Simply Safe, the right way to protect your home. There is probably no limit to what you would do to protect your family, no matter how difficult. Let's talk about an easy one, securing your home with Simply Safe. I love that part, how easy it is. I like the fact that setting up my sensors, keypad, and base station took me under an hour. I like that I don't have to have strangers in my house for that protection. Seriously, how is inviting strangers in supposed to make you feel more secure? Not that it's you against the world. Simply Safe is designed with cutting-edge security technology and powered by 24/7 professional monitoring. And that will not break the bank. Simply Safe's round-the-clock monitoring costs under $1 a day, less than half the price of traditional home security systems. Pick out the pieces you need to give you peace of mind. Customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplysafe.com/macOSken. Go today and claim a free indoor security camera plus 20% off your order with interactive monitoring. SIMPLI. That's simplysafe.com/macOSKen. There's no safe like Simply Safe. If you're a T-Mobile customer, you've apparently got a year of free Major League Soccer headed your way. Engadget says Big Fuchsia is giving T-Mobile and Metro by T-Mobile subscribers Apple's MLS Season Pass for free. Starting tomorrow, Tuesday, the 21st of February, the piece says would-be watchers can download the T-Mobile Tuesdays app from the App Store, sign in with their phone number, and collect the offered perk. Soccer fans hoping to score the season don't have to be Apple TV Plus subscribers, nor do they need Apple hardware. MLS Season Pass will be available on the Apple TV website or through the Apple TV app, which is available on game consoles, streaming devices, smart TVs, just about anything modern that's attached to a screen or has a screen attached to it. The dramedy series Shrinking shows little sign of doing so. Cult of Mac says the Jason Segel, Harrison Ford series on Apple TV Plus has turned up on the Reelgood Top 10 for a third week in a row. The movie and TV search engine showed the show showing at number 5 for the week of the 9th of February through February 16th. And finally today, are you a mid-career director? I don't know what that is, so I suspect I am not. If you suspect you are, though, you may want to apply for the Apple Studios Directors Program. Billing itself as an inclusive initiative focused on expanding opportunities for mid-career directors across the U.S., Apple says the goal of the program is to identify innovative and diverse visionaries and then show them how it's done, I guess. According to the initiative site, the 6-month program offers master classes focused on building and sustaining a career as a working episodic director. The program will feature discussions with seasoned industry professionals focusing on the craft and business of directing, opportunities to participate as shadowing directors on Apple Studios series, and a one-of-a-kind experience in Apple Park tailored to inspire innovation and creativity. Now, when they say inclusive, what they're talking about is candidates, not numbers. Underrepresented minorities and women are strongly encouraged to apply for not 1, not 2, but 3 openings in the program. The 1-week application period runs from 9 a.m. Pacific this Thursday, the 23rd of February, through 11:59 p.m. Pacific on Wednesday, the 1st of March. As usual, they have made it nearly impossible to find more info on Apple's site. If you're interested in more information, your best bet is to find my Monday observation deck column at macobserver.com. There will be a link to it there. Today on the Mac Observer's Daily Observations podcast, TMO Managing Editor Jeff Butts joins me to talk over a few Apple sentiment stories, plus the cluster thing that is social media, and Apple's vote of confidence for Mastodon. That is all today on the Daily Observations podcast from the Mac Observer, online at macobserver.com or wherever you get podcasts. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Simply Safe. Get a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring at simplysafe.com/macOSKen. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. info@macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.